So today we are going to learn about triggers. Okay. Till now we have seen some automated components like workflows and process builders. Okay. This trigger is also an automated business process. Okay. The difference is the workflow will run when a record is created or updated. Even the process builder will run when a record is created and updated, right? And the trigger will run whenever a DML operation is occurred. DML operation means maybe insert, update, delete, and delete. We have 4 DML operations. If you perform any DML operation on the object, then automatically trigger will be executed. Okay. Now, when the trigger will be executed, whenever the DML operation is occurred. Okay, it may be insert, it may be update, it may be delete, or it may be undelete also. Okay, and the workflow and process builder will run only once. If you insert a record, process builder will run once, and workflow also will run only once. But the trigger will run twice per transaction. If you insert or update or delete, the trigger will run twice. Okay, before inserting the record and after inserting the record. Okay, before inserting the record and after inserting the record, the trigger will run. And even on update also, before update and after update. And in the case of delete also, before delete and after delete. And in the case of undelete, it runs only once. Be careful. On insert, update, delete, trigger runs twice, before and after. On after delete, on undelete, it runs only once, that is after undelete. Okay, so let's see, those are called events. Okay, then first, what is an Apex trigger? A trigger is a piece of Apex code which runs automatically whenever an DML operation is occurred. Okay, here trigger runs twice in the case of insert, update, and delete. Before insert, after insert, before delete, after delete, before update, after update, and after undelete only. There is no before undelete. Okay, only after undelete. Okay, so those are called events. Okay, so there are two types of triggers major, and the thing is before triggers and after triggers. Only the types of triggers are before triggers and after triggers. These are this kind of categories, trigger categories, before and after. Then actual types of triggers are different, like recursive triggers, circular triggers. We have two kind of triggers again. Okay, so now let's see what are the DML events and what are the context variables. So context variables means you know that all are static variables. Context variables, trigger context variables are all static variables. Okay. Okay. So let's see what are the trigger context variables we have. These are very much important. You have to learn them. Okay. Trigger context variables. This may be asked in interview also. Very important context variables are the context variables. Okay, so here, so these are all like all Boolean variables, means it returns true or false. Insert, is update, is delete, is and delete, is before, is after, and is executing. These are all the context variables, and these are this returns true or false, means these are Boolean variables. Okay, and then this returns size of the trigger, means list actually, so it returns how many records it's getting executed in the trigger. That's like size. Then new, this is list of records. Then new map, this is map of records. Old is also list of records. Old map is also, this is a map of records. Okay, let's run one by one here. Okay, new means this is list of new version of records. New map means this list of new version of records with map. Map of new version of records. So we know that map means there will be key and value. Here in this map, key will be ID of the record, value will be record. Means if you say that trigger.new, this is the list of records. That's just list. That's it. And then new map, it's a map of records with key value base. Key will be always ID. There will be no other thing to have key. Only ID will be the key, and the record will be the value. Okay, and now this is list of old version of records. Map of old version of records. Will have the same way, map of ID and the record. Here S object means whatever the object it is. It may be employee, it may be lead, it may be contact, whatever it is. Okay, so this is about this thing. And then size is, it returns the integer and the list size. It may be new or it may be old. Okay, new of or old, whatever it is, the size will be same. Okay, it returns this, and is executing is also false, or it returns true or false, and these are also returns true or false. Okay, so first thing you have to understand, trigger is a piece of Apex code which runs automatically when your record is created or updated or deleted or undeleted. The major difference between workflow, process builder and trigger is those runs only once, and trigger will runs twice in the case of insert, update and delete. Okay, and the workflow and process builder will run only when a record is created or updated, but trigger will run on all events. Okay, how to create a trigger? Trigger syntax is trigger Example is, let's say, employee trigger employee then events. So what are the events? First you have to learn that. Let me have one event first. Okay, so this is just example. Okay, now what are the DML events, or let's say what are the events will be there? Okay, so as we have already told that there are different kind of event is nothing but DML operation. Okay, so here the trigger runs in different events like before and after. So the events will be always like before insert event, before update, before delete, then after insert, after update, after delete, after undelete. So these are all the events, and then in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are all events. So if you want to have multiple events in your trigger, then what you can do is, let's say, trigger, EML trigger, employee, events. Let's say first thing, before insert, comma, then before update, comma, before delete, before after insert, after after update, after delete, and after undelete. So these are the maximum events you can declare in the trigger. Because we have only 7, 7 can be declared in trigger. This means you are telling to the trigger that when the trigger should be executed. We have already told that trigger will be executed twice per transaction in the case of insert, update and delete. So as we are saying that the trigger should be executed before insert and before update and before delete and after insert, after update, in the after delete and after undelete also. In all the events you have to mention. If you don't want to run the trigger in the case of after and delete or any one of the event, so you can just remove that. You don't need to mention all the events. It's not mandatory. Let's say after insert you don't want, then you can do it. Okay, so this is how you have to write the trigger. This very basic thing. Just what is apex? Apex is a piece of, sorry, what is a trigger? A trigger is a piece of apex code which runs when a record is created, updated or deleted or even undeleted also. Okay, it runs twice. Okay, those are the events. Then types of triggers. There are before triggers and after triggers. That's called categories. Okay, then what are the DML events? So we have all these DML events. And what are the context variables? These are the context variables we have. Okay? Okay. So here we have context variables, right? The term itself, it is saying that context variables. What do you mean by context variable? So usually if you want to use any variable, okay, to store any value, there is some steps. There are some steps. First thing, you have to initialize it, means define. You have to define it, like let's say integer a equals to 10 or something. Then you can use it, right? But here context variables means you don't need to declare any variables. You can directly use them in the trigger itself. You can directly use them. You don't need to declare them. You should not, because those are context variables. Context variables means those are already provided by the Salesforce by default. When a record is created or updated or deleted, whatever the event is occurred, So the context variables will be available for us. The values also will be available. And one more thing, you cannot add a value to that and you can't remove a value from that. From the context variables, you cannot add a value or you cannot change a value. Okay, you cannot remove the value from it. Okay, so majorly I'm talking about new map, old and old map. You cannot remove a value, you cannot add a value. So as I'm saying that new is the list, old is also list. So list means you have different methods for adding a value or removing an element, right? But on this new map, old and old map, you should not add any value. Like map means if you want to add a value, you can use put. Here you should not use put. If you want to remove, you can directly use that remove method, right? But here you cannot use it because those are read-only. Static final variables. Final variables means you will not be able to change the value. Okay, and then inside the new or inside the old. So if you want to set any value to the record, you can do only in the new. Okay, I'll show you how it works. And that's about context variables. Let's see how we can use and what is the use of these context variables. New map, old and old map. Okay, so new and new map are the list or map of records with new version. Let's say if you are updating a record or inserting a record, there will be some values, okay, by default. And so using this new and new map, if you want to add any values to the records, not to the list, then you can do it. And old map is used to just to compare old and new values. That's it. Okay, I'll show you how it works. Let's create a simple trigger for, say, so here you can create apex trigger simply. Then here give the trigger name. For example, what are the objects we have? University is there and student is also there, right? If you want, just try here. Here you can get all the student objects. Now here you can give. And one more thing is very important thing that will come in the best practices. One trigger per object. That's it. You can create any number of triggers, but the best practice is only one trigger per object. And you have to handle all your events in that. Okay, student. Now here you can have all the events before insert, before update, before delete. Now after insert, after delete, and after. Okay, this is how it works. Let's see. First thing is, see, let's have a look. Where can we use the context variables? New map, old and old map. Others will be the easily understand and those can be used however we want. So here events, then will show you what happens in this. Okay, so before insert you can use not use any other. These are very dangerous. If you use, it will throw the null pointer exception. Okay, and after insert you can use new and new map, and you should not use any other. Okay, then in before update and after update you can use all the things whatever you want. Okay, and then before delete you should use only old and old. Before delete and after delete you can use only these two, and after undelete you can use new and new map, and you should not use any other. Okay, so what is the use of new? New means if you are doing insert or update, you are doing insert or update, whatever the records you are inserting or updating. Let's say if you are inserting 10 records from the apex or from the data loader or from import return, whatever it is, or if you are inserting a new record from the UI also, that will be in the new. Okay, and then new map will be new map. So new map will be having the new version of records with record ID as the key and record as the value. Okay, so and old will be having old version of records. What is the old version and what is the new version?
Advanced universe.
Sorry?
New means advanced version.
No, no.
Users will guide it.
Let me explain. So let's say if you go to any record, okay, so here I have test student. This record is already exist. Okay, when you edit this record, okay, now you are editing this one and you are changing some value. Paid fee equals to 5,000. Okay, now here when you save the record, so during this saving only trigger will be executed, right? We understand that. Now new version means the the record with new value, that is paid fee is 5,000. That is new version of record. The same record previously it was 0. That version is old version. Means the record is same. It will be in the new as well as in the old. In the old, whatever the record which was in the database, that will be in the old version. Okay. What are the values you have updated? That will be in the new version of records. Okay, that's called old and new. Then why we can't use the old map or new map in before insert? Okay, before insert I told that you should not use new or new map, sorry, new map or old or old map. You should not use this. Why can't we use it? Let's say if you are creating a record, okay, so as I told you that old and old map means the records from the database. if you are inserting a record, will be there a record in the database? No, because it's a brand new record, right? So that's why you should not use old and old map. Then why can't we use the new map? So once the record is inserted, then only the id will be generated, right? If the id is there, then only the value should be in the map, because id should be the key. Okay, so before insert there will be no id. That's why you should not use the new map as well in the before insert. It will be null. Okay, in after insert, after inserting the record, there will be id and as well as new will be there, new map will be there, because id is generated. And as it is the insert, there will be no records in the database, so old and old map will not be having any record. Okay, so in the case of update, whether it may be before update or after update. Okay, so if you update a record, the record is already exist in the database. You are updating the values for one of the field, so that means the record is already exist, so that will be stored in the old and old map, and that the same will be in the new one, new map as well. Okay, but whatever the values you have updated, that will be in the new and new map, and what were the values in the database, those will be in the old and old map. Okay, that's, you can use new map, old and old map here. And then, so on delete, as you are deleting the record, there will be nothing in the new and new map. Okay, so there will be values in the old and old map only. And then on after undelete, you have deleted a record, it is in disable, now you are restoring it, that means undelete, right? When you are undeleting, there will be no values in the old and old map, but the record is having id for that. That means new will be having the values, as well as new map is also will be having the values. Okay, so why don't we have old and old map? Because it is not in the database, it's coming from the recycling, right? So that's why there will be no values in the old and old map. Okay, so let's write this one. So this means in the case of before insert, you should always uh, do any operation with only new regular. In the case of after insert, you should use only these two context variables. Okay, so then why do we need old and old map? As we are changing the values, why do we need it? Means if you want to compare the old and new values, let's say if I just need to send an email from trigger whenever the uh, fees is changed, let's say 5,000 to 10,000, something it is changed, then how can I come to know that whether it is changed or not? There is no is changed function and trigger, you cannot use that. Okay, so then what I can do is I can compare with old and new records. Okay, old record was having 5,000 and the new record is having 10,000, so now I can send the value, I can send the email. Okay, so to compare only the old and old map will be used, there is no other use. Okay, so that's very much important, and let's see one by one. Anyway, we have student like this. I'll just debug system dot. So as I already told you that you can directly use the context variables. You are not required to declare, you are not required to assign any value. Those are context variables and those are static variables. Static variables means you can declare the static variables inside the class. Then what is the class? Here the class is trigger. Trigger dot. You can use any context variable. Trigger dot new. Okay, new, and then So I'm just giving the clarity how those will be, where the values will be there in the different cases. Let's do the insert on just creating a new student here. Test my trigger. Here, if you want you can give or you can ignore it also. Just save it. So you don't need to execute from the anonymous because this will be automatically executed. This is called synchronous. Okay, because it's immediately executing. Now just go and open the debug log. Okay, just use debug. Now if you see that new is having the values. Okay, new map is null, old map is also null. This is before insert. This is before insert, and we have already told that trigger will run twice, before insert and after insert. Okay, on after insert, new is having values, new map is also having values. Old map does not have any values. Check that. Before insert, new only. Yes, new only, and remaining 3 will be null. Yes, remaining 3 you should not use. And then in after insert, first 2 will be having values, new map, and old map will be having null. Done. Okay, let's see what happens if you update the record. Now I'm changing something I just used it. Now save it. Now also trigger will be run twice because before update and after update. Okay. Now go to here, check the debug log. New map is having values, old map, new map, old and old. Okay. Now you can observe here, student name is updated, my trigger update in the new. Okay, it is in the new. Okay, and as well as let's see what are the other values. We have updated the student fee also, I mean paid fee, that is not captured because the log has limit. Now new map is also will be having same values with id and record. Okay, now what will be having old and old map? If you see old, see what is the name? Test my trigger. This was a previous value. What is the new value? Trigger my test my trigger update is the new value. Test my trigger was the previous value. That will be having in the old and this will be in the new. Okay, new values will be in the new and old values will be in the old. And old map also will be same. See this test my trigger. In the new map, test my trigger update. Okay, the same will be in the after trigger also. It will be new trigger and after trigger, both will be there. Okay, so that's how this works. Now if you see this, we have all these, and before update and after update you can use all based on the application. Okay, now let's see other thing is what happens if you delete a record. Delete. Okay, this is deleted. See here, new will be null, new map will be null. Old and old map will be having values null in both cases. Okay, understand? See this. In before delete, after release, these two should be having null values, and these two will be having the values. Okay, and let's see what happens in the after and delete. Means go to recycle bin. New map will be having the values, and old map will be having none. Okay, are you guys clear on this? Where to use the trigger context variables and how to use them. So let's see how to use it. I will explain, don't worry. But where to use, you should be having clarity. You should have clarity on this. Okay, so another very much important point is okay, so if you want to update any value, if you want to update any value to the record, let's say while inserting the records will be in the triggered and new map, right? If you want to set any value to the record, you should do only in before can set values to the records using trigger dot in case of before insert and before update only. Okay, have to, you must remember this. You should remember there is no option. Okay, I'll tell you how it works. Okay, let's see. So we know that the records will be in the new before insert, right? So how to iterate the list? We know that for so you can use advanced for loop like so let's say if you are doing trigger dot remove of 0 dot remove of 0 means if you are adding or removing a record from the list, simply it will throw the error because those are read only. You cannot add a value to the list, you cannot remove a value to the list, remove a value from the list, but from the list the records will be there, right? Those records you can update it. Okay, let me show the trigger how it works. Student trigger execution of before insert caused by system dot final exception. collection is read only, trigger dot student trigger, line number 4. Line number 4, it is giving the error. Okay, even you cannot edit the value because the error itself it is saying that final exception means that is final. You cannot add or you cannot remove a value from the list, but you can set a value to the record only. Okay, now here you can even if you just try to add a new value, it will go the same exception. Let me print just system dot debugger. Insert one record, there will be only one record in the trigger dot. Okay, as we know that it returns, the trigger will run twice, before insert and after insert. Okay, so now if you see that this is run twice, it runs twice, so two debug logs are there. Okay, now if you try to delete a record, see this, if you try to delete a record, there is a problem in saving the record. You might not have permission to edit it. It's showing different errors, but the actual reason is, see this, attempt to dereference a null object. Okay, attempt to dereference a null object. So see this, line number 5, null pointer exception. Because we are deleting the record and still we are using trigger.new. Okay, on delete operation you should not use new map, you should use only old and old map, right? So those were event specific. Okay, now here let's see. Now what I'm going to do is, if I need to set a value to the record, okay, yes dot s dot active equals to true, let's say false. I can set any value to the variable. Yes dot balance fee equals to, directly you are setting 5,000 something. You can set your value. Okay, that's very much important. And here I told you guys, you can set values to the records using trigger.new in the case of before insert and before update only. Okay, but if you execute, let's say if you insert a record or update a record, the trigger will run twice, right? So let's say very simple, let me edit, save it, showing the error. Says execution on after update caused by system.file. Record is read only. Okay, trigger dot student trigger, then line number 6. What is on the line number 6? So line number 6, we are setting a value. It's saying that record is read only. Okay, means we have already told that if you want to set a value to the records, you should do in the before insert and before update only. Okay, so now how can you handle, how can you come to know whether it is before insert or after insert, or it is insert or update, or it is delete or it is undelete? How can we come to know that? So we have trigger context variables, right? Okay, we have removed it. Okay, so we have trigger context variables like is insert or is update, is delete, is undelete. We have all the things, right? Now I'm using if condition. If trigger dot, we know that we should use before insert, before update only. Okay, is before, okay, equals to, means if it is true, means if it is before, then trigger dot is insert. Now here you have to give the bracket here, because this is separate condition and this will be another separate. So is insert equals to true. Usually you can give like this, but if you give like this also, means if is before returns true, and check these conditions, it should be is insert or is update. You should not keep and condition here, because at a time there will be no two events. Insert and update cannot be performed at a time on the same record. It may be insert or it may be update, right? So you should use this one. So what happens if you keep is after, then same exception, read only exception will come. Okay, should use only is before. Now let's try this. No issues, and this will be updated simply. Okay, balance fee is 50,000 and this is false. Let's try this. I'm going to change it. It is student is this and balance fee as something 1,000. Again, as we are overriding it, automatically it will be updated. Okay, in the trigger, whatever the values you set, that will be the final values. Okay, this is very much important. You just make note on this. For you, is create student object, then m1, total you have to calculate using trigger. Okay, average also you have to calculate using trigger only. Then result also you have to use trigger only. Means these are all fields. Student is an object. M1, M2, M3, total, average, result. All are these the fields in the object. Then you have to set values. M1, M2, M3 are required. Okay, you can make it required by using, while creating a field, you can make the checkbox true, or you can write a validation rule, or you can make it page layout level. These three are important. Then you have to calculate the total, then average, then total result. Calculate them in the trigger and set the values to the record. Okay, this is for the homework.